And yellow to the lion then. 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 Humpy bun a fire pan vampire and the liar them. Humpy bun a fire pan vampire and the liar them. Till I see I words, the people are search for love, not papers. From pedophiles and rapers. From pedophiles and rapers. From pedophiles and rapers. From pedophiles and rapers. From guess who's coming home? Fresh off of the road. Just bun down Rome so then no. No man is an island. My island, I get my style from tele.
Ja, welcome back to SouFLoTV again, everybody. It is your host with the most. Listen, it's appointed unto each man and each woman to die once. It's a passage into the next realm after this life that we know. No man or woman know it the minute or the hour, right? So I encourage everybody to live every day to the fullest, knowing that each day is a gift, a blessing. Be appreciative and spread love. You are not in control of this, but you have to live through this. See? And again, we bow our heads and we say, well done, and we'll see you on the other side when we get to the other side. Joe Mersa Marley, Bob Marley's grandson, son of Stephen Marley, dies at 31. You can call it dies, you can call it transcend. Some people don't use die, because Rasta no deal with death. We deal with transitioning, transcending, going through one realm into the other and these kind of things. Anyhow, Miami AP, reggae musician Joseph Joe Mersa Marley was his full name. Bob Marley's grandson and Stephen Marley's son has died or has passed away from this life as we know it at the age of 31 years old. Comfortable, which came out probably about 9 years ago or so, was my favorite and still is my favorite. I think he recently did, let me see, a song which also has a video with Kabaka Pyramid, which is called Made It or We Made It. That one. But Comfortable still stands because Comfortable had his uncles in it and so on and so forth. It was obviously a family affair and it was like his introduction. We watch him grow up, you know. We watch him grow into the music, into, you know, it was like watching Bob Marley all over again, which kind of lends to what his grandfather said. Them I got tired for see me face. Boy, when you looked at Joe Mersa, you understood what Bob Marley meant, because it was like he was reincarnated all over again. There was no mistaking that he was a Marley. There was no mistaking that he was from that lineage, that seed of the great Bob Marley. He was born in Jamaica and he was raised in Miami, Florida. He followed in his family's footsteps musically, taking the stage with his legendary father and his family's band, Ziggy Marley and the Melody Makers. He began writing music when he was in middle school and made his musical debut in 2010 with the release of a single called My Girl, on which he collaborated with his cousin Daniel Bambata Marley. In 2016, he collaborated on a song with his father for his father's album, and that song was called Revelation Part 2, The Fruit of Life. He grew up with his musician father, his very famous musician father, by the way. Who does not know Stephen Marley, extraordinaire singer slash producer slash music maestro, dance slash, you know, and to top it off with all that, the son of Bob Marley. He grew up with his musician father and he was surrounded by his uncles and his aunts and what we call Bob Marley's other children, including Uncle Ziggy and Aunt Sharon and Sidella. Boy, that one here hit hard here, man. Joe Mersa Marley spoke of how music enveloped his upbringing in a previous interview he did with Rolling Stone. He said, I would come home and I would try to do homework, but I'd end up getting distracted and I would just go peep in the studio, You would always want to run in and run out to see what was going on inside of the studio. So you see, it was the chip not far fall don't the chip don't far fall far from the block is a saying, and it was very true. He was intent on creating his own path, and he released his own debut album called Eternal in 2021. He had studied studio engineering at Miami-Dade College. See, all these things where people don't know. Them feel like, oh, you're just born into music and your father is Stephen Marley and your uncle them is Junior Gang and, you know, Jojo Royal and the great, you know, and your auntie is Sharon and this and that. And they don't really know that there's another side to this. Man taking music serious, you know. Man went to school and said, you know what, if I'm really going to go into this, I'm going to have to do more than just lend vocals, be a singer. So he went to school and he studied studio engineering at Miami-Dade College. He says, I'm one of the new generation of the Marleys, but I'm still experimenting at the same time. Of course, you know, you have to come and add your own flavor to the thing because that's how authenticity is. But don't deviate and stray too far from the root. In other words, you can't up on stage and sing about skin out, pum pum and under gal and gunshot in a man's face because that's not what your father laid a foundation with. That's not what his father set it with. That's not what any of the Marleys have set it with. So he couldn't do that. He had to keep the music constructive and uplifting, or what we call brain food music. And he did just that. And he said, I'm one of the new generation of Marleys, but I'm still experimenting at the same time. And that's what he told Rolling Stone in their interview. My plan is to do something new with my roots. News of his death brought about mourning as people gathered on social media to mourn, including Prime Minister Andrew Holness from Jamaica. Prime Minister Andrew Holness, boy, I never really see him to send out condolences to any of those. Maybe he has that have passed away from reggae royalty. However, he said that my heartfelt sympathies to Joseph's friends and associates and to the reggae music fraternity and fans everywhere. This is what he tweeted. The Prime Minister tweeted on Tuesday. His untimely passing at the young age of 31 years old is a huge loss to the music as we look to the next generation. And right now, of course, we are looking to the next generation to kind of like pick up from the foundation laid by the generation before them. It's a funny time and climate going on in the world right now. You know, when you're reaching your 30s and in your 40s, people start calling you elder as if you're an old person. And then those in their 60s, they're calling those people ancient as if they no longer are relevant. It's a strange time we're living in. So musically, you find that many people are begging for some of the old roots and culture and are saying that, man, our culture is not going to survive if this part of the music does not survive. And Joe Mersa was certainly one of those. I think this hits harder than all the others because he was so young in passing. He was so young at his time of transitioning. People are going to ask, so how did he die, SouFlo? Or how did he pass? I've seen information out there that said he was found unresponsive, sitting or reclined in a vehicle. So he was sitting in a vehicle and found unresponsive there. What caused it? I was told that he had an issue with asthma from throughout his entire life, right? And it kind of draws to me because in real life and in true life, my first sibling that I lost was from a set of twins. I had twin sisters, and one of the twins, I was in the army serving at the time, and the Red Cross notified me and flew me back from Germany to the United States of America to be with my family and then to attend my young sister's funeral. And my little sister had died because she had suffered with asthma, and she used to get severe asthma attacks when she was younger, and she died pretty young. and she left her twin behind. Her twin is still here. Her twin does not suffer from asthma, but she did. So to lose a sibling to asthma or an asthma attack or that kind of a respiratory issue, it's very real and it happens. And I know I've seen the comments out there. People are talking wild because that's the world we live in. Social media is available to everybody, so everybody can leave their wild thoughts and think outside the box and say, oh, they sacrificed him dying in 2022 of asthma. That's like something that's unheard of. There has to be more to this. Maybe it was a drug overdose and nobody wants to say it. I've seen all those comments. And I'm going to tell you all that this is very real. People are still dying today from asthma and asthma attacks. Okay? So if the family says and approves that message that that is what it is, I'm going to respect that that is what they said it is. Furthermore, I've been a fan of Joe Mersa from over a decade now. That's to show you. Been listening to his music, been a fan of his, and I always thought to myself, whenever he stepped in a room or whenever he stepped on video or whenever he came into a place and a space, it was like seeing Bob Marley in a different version of Bob Marley all over again. Like I said in the beginning of this video, he was definitely a Marley and he definitely carried the same musical talent. He carried even the same voice, because if you listen to Joe Mersa, you would think that that was Bob Marley, and you would have to ask yourself, when Bob Marley do that song here, when me never hear it before? As somebody has said, Bob Marley, is Bob Marley's grandson. Yeah, it's the son of Stephen Marley. So with that said, I will leave now and allow the family to go through their celebration of his life. I don't know if there will be much grieving, except for the fact that they loved him so much, and he is from a loving, caring family who obviously the world can see is very close, and they take family very, very seriously. That's a family you can't just run in pan. You understand? And I wish all of us would take an example out of that book. I wouldn't even call them a family. I would say it's an empire. I would say, yeah, it's definitely an empire. And to lose one, a young and a powerful one, one that people, those before would pass the torch on to carry on the legacy and the tradition. And then to lose one now, it kind of stings a little bit, right? So with that said, Joe Mersa, we appreciated you from them time till now. And such is life, my bro. Such is life. We don't control this, and we all must go through that portal, that gate, that place that we call death, that place that we call transitioning or transcending. We all have a date, a destined date with that as well. So until then, and until our time come, we will continue to play your music and the vibes and the energy that you brought here will continue to live on here. Alright? Manners and respect, and my condolences goes out to the Marley family, each and every one of them, to include his dad, of course. I left this one right here, so leave your comments in the comment section below. I'm out. Peace.